I've just been really excited for this. I wanted to try mono blue one more time for the Namor shell. It feels like we owe some due diligence here because we had a lot of success with the mono blue shell, but the whole time we were playing this Merfolk package with Sylvoon and Hexcatcher, and the cards were fine. I even like Sylvoon a lot as just like a card advantage engine. But I was just kind of thinking, like, what if we just max out on the Lrien Reveals? The Lrien Reveals were really good also to Disrupting Shoal to counter Solitude and Quantum Riddler. I liked that a lot. And then it just gives you kind of this inevitable, like, I have all this card advantage in the late game. So, like, this plus Archmage's Charm plus a couple Tamiyos plus the Cryptics. Just have a good amount of card advantage. And just being really all in on, if I have Namor, I'm going to be ahead on board. And beyond that, I'm just going to be trying to control the board until I can take over the game with Namor. And so I just cut the Hex Catchers, I cut the Sylvoons, and then also the mana curve is a lot better, a lot less clogged at 3. And I think this is also a better shell to be main decking a bunch of copies of Shadow of Doubt, trying this. Players cannot search libraries this turn, draw a card. You never run into the issues of like needing to have your own fetch with this, and it's a bit harder to play around since like you're just against blue. It's just you have so many different things to play around here. Maybe it's the same, but we're never tapping out for Frog on turn 2. And so our 2-drops are always instant speed. I mean, it's a good way to think about it. And then I did decide to play one Steam Vents in the Yard, not for Meltdown, but for Explosives. I don't think 5 sources is enough sources for Meltdown, and I also didn't want to play like a Fetchland Shockland package just for Meltdown / Pyroclasm, so I decided to play Explosives, which is a good bit better than Ratchet Bomb. Also decided I had a 15 sideboard slot instead of 3rd Harbinger, which I don't think I really want that much. I just wanted to try a Propaganda. It's not a card I've been playing much of, but it's a card I just wanted to try a bit more of. At this point, we would be better playing Mentor and White Splash. Namor is much better than Monastery Mentor. Namor is much better than Monastery Mentor. Which may come as a shock, but 4 toughness flying in addition to making... Like, every Merfolk you make is worth 2 power. You know, which is probably better than a 1/1 with Prowess. Maybe about the same. Maybe, sometimes Prowess is more, sometimes it's less, right? But every Merfolk you make is worth 2 power, and also Counterspell makes 2. A 0 mana Shoal makes 2. 0 mana Force makes 2. Archmage's Charm makes 3. Cryptic Command makes 3. This is better than making... That's more than 1, and they make comparable amounts of power, and it survives 3 damage removal spells. Winter Soldier with 8 months. Thank you. Welcome back. And it also blocks Dragon Rage's Channeler. But like this is like why this archetype is exciting. Is like Namor is like much better than Monastery Mentor, and so you get to play this effect. I'll be mulliganing this on the draw in the blind. But my opponent was last seen playing Dimir midrange. Maybe this is a hand I'd like to keep against that. Actually, I think against like having Wasp or Frog, having just in a matchup where you don't want to mulligan much. I guess I actually will just keep this. Obviously, they could have switched decks, but Dimir players never switch decks. I thought of trying 10 rings with Frog. It's a bit awkward that you don't get the cards right away, but it's kind of a cool thought. Yeah, the Magna Loki list is in the it's in the Mox field. Haven't got around to it yet. They graveyard a copy of Counterspell. You just did. Just did what? Namor just a better version of Talrand. It's just the best version of this effect ever printed, maybe you could say. I think I'll actually counterspell that. A Wasp if they have another Frog. I want to keep the Namor. One thing too is like if they crack this fetch, which they are, like this becomes easier to tap out for. Playing Murktide? Okay, it's fine. Because like they've got only a couple cards and they need to have Fetchland plus Fatal Push or the 2 other 3 cards here. Well, I guess if I sink this, they can turn push back on, but then I get the tokens. I don't know if I want to main phase the sink. I think it seems okay. Sure. And then I can counter a 2 or a 3 mana counter spell on this. But they may just turn on, this may turn on push, but then I have 2 tokens. Yeah, bummer. I don't think there was a good way to play around that. Sorry, should I have shoaled that? Probably. I can Wasp it though. So the hand is Murktide, 2 mystery cards. Yeah, Otawara is 3 mana as well, but we don't get the tokens. But we also get to get the legendary land out of our hand. They play Sync untapped. What does that mean? Why would they play Sync untapped here? Maybe it means Wan Shitong. Maybe it means consult the star charts. Both are really bad for me. I guess I'll probably just need to trade here. Subtlety. That makes a lot more sense. So probably not playing the Wasp into the Subtlety then. Could bounce the Bowmaster with the Otawara end of turn. So I think if we are assuming their hand is Murktide Subtlety Mystery card, this is probably fine since we have the Shoals. And obviously like the second Otawara, we need to channel it to use it this game. Okay, so I'm gonna go, I think Shoal, pitch Shoal. Okay, it's good to be up to 5 mana because we just have 4 Lrien Revealed we can top deck. Let's see if they just tap out for Murktide here. They don't. I'm totally okay to play this game. I'm 1 mana short of Harbinger plus Sync up. I also don't want them to fetch Swamp in response. They put a Misty in their graveyard. So now Murktide costs 4 to tap out 4. Better to do this end of turn. Could a Murktide or 2 be good on your own? No fetch lands means no Murktide, I think. I've been enjoying no fetch lands. The subtlety seems so for sure there. I think at this point we probably just need to make a trade. I think I'm gonna bottom the Harbinger. It's definitely nice to have. I think with the Namor in hand, it's just fine to bottom it, and then I'm gonna go upkeep tap the subtlety. Just pass. I don't know. I think my hand has to. I think I have to set up. I just have so many good draws now. Okay, Tamiyo is awkward. I guess I can double block with Namor and Wasp. Oh my gosh, they have Riddler. Okay, we're lost, I guess. That's a tough 2 mystery cards to play around Tamiyo Riddler. Okay, tough game 1. Probably not a great matchup overall. I'm going to cut the Harbinger for sure. So Scolding counters Bowmaster Tamiyo. Frog does not counter Riddler and does not counter Murktide. I think I'm going to play 1 Ghost Vacuum, and I think I just will play the 4th Scolding. Warping Namor counts as 2. Riddler does not trigger Namor. Namor is only non-creature spells. Can keep this. I don't have 6 if they have Thoughtseize. Could this be a flow state deck if you had a Preordains? Probably could be. I think I'm chilling. I don't think I want to cycle Shadow Doubt into a Bowmaster. Them having Shores is pretty bad for me. So Snare is like just much better than Scolding. I think we should use Scold here. They have Force of Negation. So maybe they have Force of Negation to try to force this through alongside Kaito. So let's fight over this. They've got 5 cards in their hand. Hopefully not another threat to tap out for. They do have the frog. Bummer. Bummer to hold up Stern Scolding and Snare. They get to resolve the frog like this. Guess they just pass. Tough game. Shadow. I mean, do you want a main phase cast Shadow of Doubt? Doesn't seem like even if I draw the land, doesn't seem like I get to do that much. Maybe I get to play Ghost Vacuum, I guess. All right. Don't match. Tough. All right, on the play. Have we tried unable to scream type cards? I don't usually like them so much. They do trigger Namor. Would Snuff out be too good in Modern? I mean, people really dislike 0 mana interaction. I can hear the complaints about it already without ever seeing the card in action. It's definitely not the kind of card I'd love to see legal. It would be better if okay, so Ponza matchup should be great. And we got Force of Negation maybe up next turn. Probably don't want a Shadow of Doubt in response to a Wildfire. So they do have a road / path up, so I don't think I probably want to tap out for Namor. We can just hold up the Archmage's Charm. Yeah, I thought about playing 1 or 0 Dismember, or I've been playing 0. I thought about playing Dismember. You could. I do think that the Wasps do a pretty good job. They're not perfect, but they get the job done. You never have gut shots be good for Boros? I don't think so. Like Guide of Souls and the Johnny sure have too tough it is. It is good against 8 cards in their deck, I guess. It just doesn't feel like enough. Yeah, I think if they Demolition Field me end of turn, I'll just Shadow of Doubt. And then like I won't get a land, but neither will they. I think that's okay for this spot. Why is there Siemens there? I've got explosives in the sideboard. All right, then we'll cycle Lrien Revealed. Just kidding. We're not right now. I want all Evoke Elementals and Mox Opal banned. An Endurance banned? Null Drifters and Evoke Elemental. Alright, don't want to Shadow of Doubt in response to this. I may cycle. I'm just gonna let this resolve. Too good with Living End. You know, I'll say we had a lot of those comments while Image 2 was a new thing. A lot of comments about banning the Evoke Elementals. And I sometimes I'll see a comment like that in the chat and I'll feel a little nostalgic. I'll feel a little nostalgic. Ooh, Hall's kind of rough here. I guess I just cast Wasp, so I don't have to go to discard. Do I think Subtlety and Solitude are fine? I think they're totally fine. Yeah, I think Solitude. I think they're actually both very well balanced for Modern. All right, so they flip over a Price of Freedom. A little annoying. Is this matchup a buy? I don't see opponent can do anything. I wouldn't call it a buy, but it's pretty good. We are playing less basics than we were. We only have 3 left. I'd say we're likely favored. Homeless Wizard with the... You know, most wizards are homeless, but good to see a 40 stream streak. Takes a while to get that tower. Wait, are they going to discard 2 cards? The fact that Grief was originally going to be a Necrominch effect is bananas. You know, sometimes I think about that first, like, image. Okay, they discard a path. Okay, nice. Love that we got the erode here. So I think about that first, like, MH3 press conference thing they did where they talked about Grief and they said, we know that you can ephemerate and Undying Evil these. They said that. And I wonder when that became a known thing. Like how how long they had been aware. Like, were they always aware, or did someone like realize it after they got printed? I don't know. I just wonder. White Orchid Phantom, sure. Weird they didn't play that. I mean, they might have just drawn it, but if they could have played that on the discard turn. Do I want to force this? Kinda, yeah. The Scolding does counter Solitude, but I think like if they have Solitude now, they just use it, and I won't get the Scolding anyways. Um, and if they do, it's fine. I've got the 4/1/1s. I guess they have the 2/2. Could they do? They pitch another Phantom. Get to gain 5 life. Don't know how many situations there are that I tap out for Namor here, but I think it's I'm gonna always draw 2 on one of these, so maybe I'll just like play like a land for turn. Okay. Guess I'll play this untapped so I can Wasp Phantom into turn and then attack for 6. Wasn't Grief Ephemerate kind of bad after Image 2 release? Remember everyone making fun of the Black White Sewer deck? Yeah, it was. I mean, the Black White Sewer deck, I mean, like maybe there was like Esper. Were there even Esper Blink decks at any point? Maybe there weren't that were good. But like Grief was always way more problematic in Living End, Rakdos Scam. I think to some extent it in a Living End, like how effective it was in that deck. It's always been a little bit understated how just insane it was. Okay, so I got them down to 12. So they're activating the Mountain Monastery again. Yeah, Goryo's as well. I guess that's like the closest to the Sewers deck. It was very good in Goryo's. Okay, they hit a Field of Ruin. They have 3 cards in their hand plus the field and exile. They play the field, of course. So I think I'm going to cast this now before they could respond with Solitude. Maybe it's bad if I draw a basic. Okay, nice. I drew the Scolding. Could also have maybe cast Shadow of Doubt here. Yeah, although I guess holding it for Namor is maybe better, but I only have 1 basic left in the deck, and I'm going to get to tutor it at some point, probably. Okay, so do I want to trade Wasp for 4 damage? Oh, I guess I'm not making that trade. If they block the Wasp, that's totally fine. Oh, they can't because it does flying. So yeah, so I'm trading a Merfolk for 3 damage, which I think is also fine. So they're taking 5 down to 7. I think it's probably a good turn to play the Harbinger. They activate the Monastery 1 more time. They flip over a Sunken Citadel. Maybe it was better to play no more. I think it's fine. Or it's flying. It's lost flying because of the Wasp. Alright, do I want to fight over this? I think it's okay to just cast Shoal X equals 1. It's kind of a clunky card right now. If they Wrath, we'll just let it go. I think. Yeah, I mean, it just seems hard to lose if I cast Namor, so... Let's cast Namor, I think it's fine. Is that a good top deck? Living In wasn't that insane because most decks played Solitude or Fury at the time Living In wasn't playing Endurance. I think Living In was super insane. I'm just gonna disagree. That you could beat it for sure. I agree you could beat it. They have a second Mountain Monastery and they don't activate on their turn. It's a little suspicious. Make 2 Merfolk. Should be good here. So I have lethal if I cast Cryptic Command. I'll just hold it up. I never thought that Solitude or Fury were that good against Living End, I guess. They're not that bad. So they find a Wrath Disguise. Has to spend 4 mana on that. Should be fine to Cryptic because I have Force for Erode and Path, and I have Stern Scolding for Solitude. How does Chalice of the Void line up? Chalice is pretty good. So they're untapping their mana. Well, Treacherous with 4 main deck Chalice. Weird. This is X equals 0. Okay. Do you bring in either now Spellbomb or Rest in Peace versus Brood Scale? I would not recommend it. No. I mean, I guess another thing too is that I need to know what deck you guys are playing when you ask these questions. I need to know what deck you guys are playing. It of course depends entirely. Oh, sorry. Sorry. That's on me. I didn't finish reading your comment. Sorry. Came up with a better zoo list. I would still play it in. I would not play it in zoo. Sorry, I didn't read the rest of the comment. But I know Emrakul's a problem, but like in zoo you have Consign for Emrakul. I think that's enough. All right. Namor's still so fun. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pretty good number. Do feel like the Scoldings are pretty good. The Wasp are also just good as like 2-mana 2/1 flash creature. How good is Harbinger? It feels like the first Harbinger is fine. Maybe I do want to play the second. The Shadow of Doubts are actually just pretty bad because they don't play fetch lands. Could play like one. I think we're just gonna play the fourth Scolding. Remember we got the chain Stern Scolding? Yeah, I've told the joke or story too many times, but when I consulted on Lord of the Rings, Stern Scolding said counter target creature power to or less. I suggested power or toughness for Solitude and Lyris. And I was mentally thinking, thanks me. Chalice 1 seems pretty good. That's true. Chalice 1, it makes it hard to remove the stuff. Although they have Wrath, that's kind of awkward. They have Vexing Bauble. This card's good against me. It's not very good against my hand. Usually if I have 2 basics in my opener against Ponza, I'm ruining the day, but we still have 6 in the deck. In what situations is Scolding better than Consign? Not too often, just against Solitude and Ajani and Guide of Souls and Ocelot Pride and Ragavan and Slickshot Show Off and Dragon Rage's Channeler and Monastery Swift Spear. If you meet in this matchup, it's almost always better because it's like countering the Solitude and not letting them get the 3/2 lifelinker is way better than countering the ETB. And also it counters White Orchid Phantom. How cool is it to play with the cards up design? Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, if they want to erode this and then just let me hold up Cryptic, that's going to be cool with me. I don't think I really want to let them use the field of... Oh, they can't because they don't have the... So I'll just play Island. It's fine. Did my time consulting inspire me to make my own game? I wouldn't necessarily say that was the inspiration. The inspiration came from a road trip I took with my co-designer and best friend. But I'd say that it definitely helped give me some experience because it is very different. Like what I do on this stream is not the same experience, right? Where what I do on this stream is I try to break Magic the Gathering, and and you know when you're designing and consulting, you're trying to balance, and it is just kind of a different skill set. This Wrath Disguise. I don't have to discard, right? Yes, I can sack this. Matchup seems very good. They don't Field of Ruin. Maybe they don't activate the Mountain Monastery either. It's a little weird. It's free to do either. Do I care? How much do I care about Solitude? I mean, they're just evoking, so it's okay. I'd rather keep the snare. And try to remember that there's a Vexing Bauble in play. Do you think this mono blue version of Dimir is better? I don't know. I wanted to try it for due diligence. I think it's very close and hard to tell. So I cannot pitch cast this force. I kind of just want to. I guess I don't. I don't want to. Lrien Revealed and just tap out and let them resolve Legend of Roku because they have Vexing Bauble. All right, drawing third, Lrien Revealed. I guess we'll cycle. You usually don't want to cycle these too much. I guess I get the Steam Vents. It's kind of nice. That it's just not a basic. So getting in for 2. I'm also glad I boarded in the Harbinger because it's just going to be game over. I guess it would be game over on this board, although they can unlock it some with Field of Ruin. So if they cast Price of Freedom, do you Cryptic it? It's a little bit weird because they could resolve the Legend of Roku. They would have to have a land. When they just pass, I'll just cycle the Clue, I guess. I mean, this could let them resolve Solitude. I think that would be okay. Attack for 2. Think I am gonna cycle again. Okay, so I'm gonna activate the Monastery. They flip over Avengers Disassembled. Yeah, I think we might be playing a little too many non-islands to play like 1 Shackles. I thought about playing 1. It'd probably be okay. All right, I'm just gonna Cryptic this. They can't resolve Legend of Roku. Three basics left. It's good enough. Good amount. They play another Field of Ruin. All right, great time to play Namor. Although I guess I don't have the Force of Negation up. Should be okay. I do think that they likely have a Wrath of Skies. That's true. We could just force for 2 tokens. So here, if I draw 2 with Archmage's Charm and my opponent casts Solitude, how do we feel? Don't feel very good. I think we'll just play around that. Okay, if I knew I was drawing another Namor, then I'd be more in. Don't think I'm cycling this one. All right, they flip over a Field of Ruin. In theory, behind this deck, this matchup should be a buy. It seems very good. I agree. I don't know if we've played it before. I know we've been hoping to play it, but maybe the first time we actually have been able to play it. I think they should have been more aggressive on their Field of Ruins. Like, just awkward to have this many colorless sources. Like, somehow Harbinger is still like a game-ending top deck. I'm like, they're just dead to like be having any counterspell, basically. Have been to any Tyvar decks with Shang-Chi since it's had some redundancy. I mostly think that Shang-Chi replaces Tyvar. World, I just not really a believer in Squirrel Girl. Thought she might be okay, just didn't test well at all. If they'll put back the Wasp, should be pretty good against creatures with this hand. Would you ever steal the Bauble and sack it? I guess they tapped out, I guess. Bane with the 2. Thank you, welcome back. Although I'd probably just draw 2. Yeah, we played a little bit of Shang-Chi Cup. We didn't really play it enough, honestly. Let me put that to the top of my notes. Also, sometimes it gets lost in the scruffle. I've actually been liking this matchup more than you'd expect. The mirror version was definitely better. Kind of squared of a plotted show off here. So try Shang-Chi with Shigeki. Cool synergies and draws your deck with infinite green. Well, I mean, having a payoff for the infinite mana is not much of a sell for me. Yeah, I mean, I think this card's... It's cool that it has haste, and so it's like a little less bad. I'm just going to counterspell this, even though it's an iteration on turn 2. I just have another counterspell, and they could hit a bobble. I guess I would show a Channeler or a Swiftspear here for mana. Any chance to go back to the Zemo on Earth deck since it didn't really get a chance? We did go back to it, and we played a good bit of it, and it was like it just keeps feeling very mid. All the iTwitch builds feel so mediocre to me right now. Have not been liking them. What do you think about Boros Land Destruction become more relevant in Modern? Do you think it's good the Land Destruction deck? It's good the Land Destruction deck is in Modern. I do think it's good, yes. It's maybe not the best thing in the world, but it's like I like, you know, we just I like how you could try to beat the deck in deck building. It's a very easy deck to beat if you want to beat it. I like that it encourages players to play more basics. The gameplay is not always super fun. If you're playing like a Death Shadow deck, it's really miserable, of course. But to some extent, I'm still just really happy anytime a new modern deck starts to exist. I'm really happy every time a new modern deck starts to exist. Like I'm still thinking of Modern as like, you know, 2 years of like the same metagame, and like anytime there's a new deck that sticks around like this, I think it's a really good thing, because it has been a really long time of just the same modern decks finding success without much change. Yeah, that because of Ponza. Okay, so Namor with Shoal Up is usually pretty good. Okay, and then we can just Archmage's Charm next turn to refill. If they play Steel Cutter here, do we shoal the Steel Cutter or do we shoal the Show Off? I think we shoal the Steel Cutter. I think also I'm just gonna probably block the Show Off. I guess it's bad if they have Lava Dart and they can kill both tokens, while they just don't play it. It's also, you know, like I like that Ponza, like it's good against, you know, the like having a good tool against the big mana decks, I think is a good thing. Right, I'm gonna just get in here. So they have 4 cards in their hand. Maybe they have another Steel Cutter. They do. I think this time we counter the Show Off because we don't have the blocker. They do only have 2 cards in their hand, though. So it's really bad if they have another iteration. It's about it. I think that's just fine to let resolve. Don't know why I let the token resolve first. Doesn't really matter, I guess. So my Namor has 6 power, and I have 5 Merfolk. So they can't just attack, they die. Yeah, we could have gone for the steal, I think. I think this is probably a little bit better. Alright, so they just leave it back to block. We draw a copy of Tamiyo. Am I gonna Vigilance Namor here? I think I'm just gonna attack for 6 and then just have them dead in 2 turns and then play Tamiyo. Maybe they'll kill the Namor with like a bolt and a dart here. They started to pay cost. Maybe they were trying to block and they clicked on Steel Cutter. Seems like they're trying to kill Namor end of turn, which doesn't really make that much sense. Okay, they're not trying to do that. I hope they never make image 4. Yeah, I've been kind of hoping they just go right to 5. Yeah, I think so. Like I think that, you know, Modern Horizons, we've talked about this to death, obviously, but I think Modern Horizons 2 worked well because it brought stability to an unstable format. The design philosophy was also kind of different with Image 2, where, with the exception of Grief, like it was really good to be good against like maybe Fury too, but for the most part Grief. It was very easy to build your deck in a way that you were very strong against any of the good cards in Image 2. Ragavan, Murktide, Dragon Rage's Channeler, Urza Saga. There's a lot of ways to like blow these cards out. But when it came to MH3 stuff, like it's hard to blow out Nadu, it's hard to blow out Raptor, hard to blow out Guide, hard to blow out K Command. Like these cards just are really hard to be great against. Okay, so if they have Violent Urge, this is 16 damage, and I absorb 3 of it. 16 damage, I absorb 3, and I go to 2. So I die to a top deck Bolt or Dart. This means I'm not dead to Bolt or Dart. This means I'm not dead to Bolt. And then I still have lethal, so might as well. Yeah, Steam is just for EE. I think it's not enough red sources to play Meltdown, since we just have the Lrien Revealed as fixers. Alright, so they don't play Violent Urge if they have it. I don't know what's going on in their head. Then they equip the Steel Cutter. So let's see. I think Lava Dart kind of gets me, right? They go Dart, Flashback Dart, block. So I think I don't attack with the tokens. If they have Bolt, nothing matters. The only thing that matters is Lava Dart, and it's bad to attack if they have Dart. Okay, but 1 game 1 against Prowess. I have been liking the matchup. Gonna bring in the 4th Stern Scolding, gonna bring in the Propaganda, gonna bring in the Chalices, not gonna bring in the Explosives, not a card I like against them. I do think the Shadow of Doubts are good on the play. On the draw, I'm a lot more dubious on them. I think I'll be cutting those and a Harbinger and then dragging this back in there. Yeah, I guess you could have main deck heat. They do main deck heat sometimes. Sometimes I forget that that's kind of common. Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I will be right back. On the draw against Prowess, I think this has to be a keep. The ability to force show off is great. We also have Chalice. We can also, maybe we could shoal a 1 mana threat. I think we would shoal a 1 mana threat here. Also, let me play the Sync tapped. Huh. Sure. Now their Boomerang basics will be bad. I feel like blue-white controllers can play slow enough for Sacred Found to be okay against the Pawns list. I mean, Sacred Ground should be really good against them. Yeah. I think you probably can't play more than, probably can only play 1, but it's like, it's awesome, right? They price of freedom you, or they wildfire, and then you get your land back, and then you get another land sometimes too. It dies to wear to Wrath post board. I mean, yeah, things die to removal. Doesn't mean they're bad. So we're mostly weak to show off here, since we can force a iteration or a Steel Cutter. I guess we have Wasp maybe for the show off. Blue-white control is so good in the pawns already. Is it? Maybe it is. I haven't really seen the matchup play much. Maybe it is just good. If it's just good, yeah, you don't need the Sacred Ground. But it's just like the best possible sideboard card if you wanted to dedicate a sideboard card to them. How is that matchup? I don't actually really know. Okay, so we could steal. Redirect Lightning seems like a good card against Ponza. Well, if you redirect a Cleansing Wildfire, they still get to draw the card. So I don't know, maybe. My blue controls on 5 base, 6 1 and 3 snare, so maybe I'm biased. Yeah, I mean that definitely seems like a good build against them. Blue has a problem versus Big Chandra. I mean, they don't really play Big Chandra. There's not enough like hard control decks in the meta, I think, to play something like that. You also can just beat it. You just like, I don't know, like Solitudes gain a bunch of life. All right. Am I going to play the Sync tapped? Probably. If you Wasp after Prowess triggers to the creature, you still get the +1/+1s. Yes. Ponza plays 2 Big Chandra sideboard to beat the mirror. What? Is that true? Have we really devolved that far? Have we fallen so far as a society? If they play a show off, I think I Wasp it, because like they can't do much about it. All right, so they've gone to their 8th card in their hand. It's a land, so they don't need to discard. They have Dispute, maybe? Dispute would be awful. I don't think I'm supposed to play around it. Maybe I play the Wondrous Wasp so I can have it plus Otawara up. I guess. I don't know. I'm probably not channeling 2 of them either. Pierce was what you worried about. I wasn't very worried about Spell Pierce. Oh, and then I saw the Chalice. Best draw, I guess, is just our 2nd Chalice of the Void. Yeah, I think I'm not gonna play out the Wasp because I want to be able to like just Wasp a show off and then trade them and have the other one. Maybe just getting more aggressive is better. I guess I could Otawara my own Wasp if that happens. Yeah, I guess just getting the clock down is probably better. Okay, I will play Wasp end of turn. They graveyard a Bolt. I imagine they have some 1-mana spells in their hand. All right, that should do it. That should do it. Do we need to play more Chalice of the Voids? Alright, bonus gives us the GG. GG. Chalice clearly killed me. I figured. I think I figured that's why you weren't casting any spells. I think they would have got countered by the Chalice of the Void. I should have watched. When was the last Tron or Titan matchup? We played against Tron at least once yesterday, and we have not played against Titan much at all. They're hiding. The Sea and Sky gamers used to play 4 main deck Chalice. Okay, this may intertap this game, but let's keep. Yeah, it's good versus Energy also. I mean, the Energy matchup is like your best matchup is Trudge. Wait, you think Energy is a weak matchup? Okay, I guess we're on opposite. Oh, sorry, I should have showed this. Okay, Wasp is fine. I think Energy is Trudge's best matchup. I find that matchup to be so good. Playing against Burn, cool. I think any deck with Blood Moon's not that great matchup. I think Blood Moon's totally fine. You just a single basic forest, you're totally good. And you have 5 of them. You can cast every spell in your deck besides Devour and K Command. Based on tracking, Trudge percentage close to 50-50. Okay, I guess I haven't played the matchup in a while. When we were playing the matchup seemed very good. I guess I'm going to let the trigger happen and just try to block the Wasp. At what point when do you give up sideboarding versus a bad matchup? When is it not worth it? Well, I mean, it's usually not worth it if it's like a very small percentage of the field, and the matchup is really bad. Like if the matchup is, it's like one of the worst matchups ever, and if it's one of the worst matchups ever, and you don't want to dedicate too many sideboard slots to it if it's not that popular, because even if you're gonna bring in like 4 cards, the matchup's still bad. It's still bad. And so, like, if it's still bad, if you're dedicating a lot of cards to it too, a lot of times you just want to try to dodge it. Okay, so they Lava Spike me. I'm down to 13. Okay, Namor right on time as always. They have 3 cards in their hand. They play Barbarian Ring, which is really good here. Then they spike me down to 10. Then they Bolt Wave me down to 7. Seems fine to just draw 2. Like, I'm not dead to single burn spell plus the ring. They've got no cards in their hand, so I think I just want to get some pressure here. And I'll hold up the Scolding instead of playing the Tamiyo. Seems fine. I attack for 4 to put them down to 13. Next turn, if I Cryptic, I'm hitting them for 10, so it's not lethal. I actually did play against Burn not that long ago, and they were main decking. They were main decking Exquisite Firecraft, which was a little scary. Because bouncing a land doesn't do anything. Let's go. Cryptic Command against Burn is like, what year is it? I think I'm gonna play the second Harbinger. I think it's pretty good against them. I think we'll play the Chalices as well. And we could maybe just board out Shadow of Doubts on the draw. And bring them back in on the play. Sure. I think this has got to be a keep on the draw against Burn. We have Snare for an Eidolon, then we can play Chalice, then we can steal the Goblin Guide they play turn 1. It's just like, this is the plan. What's the thought process behind Shadow of Doubt? It's harder to play around in this build than the build with Goblin Guide, or than the build with Psychic Frog, because we never tap out on turn 2. It makes 2 Merfolk and cantrips with Namor. That's pretty good. And it's pretty good against modern decks. All right, 2 Goblin Guides, too good. What play patterns am I recommending for Trudge players against Boros? I don't know. I just feel like the deck is really good against them. Like the hands with the fast fight rigging are good. Fanatic of Ronus is really good. Early K Command is really good. I don't know. I just feel like I don't lose very much to Boros, but I haven't been playing I haven't been maining Trudge for a while, so maybe I just had high variance. Like, you can definitely lose, and sometimes, especially play draw matters a good bit, but I just think it's a good matchup. Like, you have to keep a hand that's fast, but most of your hands are fast. There's a shoal on top. Honestly, it might even be right not to block. I want to steal the guide so bad. Well, we could steal next turn if we wanted. Oh my gosh. Dang, I should have. All right, I guess we're going to steal this turn. I forgot about Skewer. Should be okay. So maybe I'm going to Wondrous Wasp my own Goblin Guide so that I can attack with it without triggering it. I could also steal the other Goblin Guide and get in. It's kind of an interesting dynamic. Okay, well, that makes it a little less interesting. Let's play for the 4-1s. Get a 4-1 prediction going. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to play the Sync on turn 1, partially play around Thoughtseize, and partially so my Shadow of Doubts are a little bit more disguised. They're last seen 1 day ago on Eldrazi-tron, so I guess if that's what they're still playing, the Shadow of Doubts are really only good against map. And what do you know? There's a map. Maybe a little awkward that I have to do nothing this turn. Thanks, opponent. Opponent didn't want me to feel awkward. Okay, Namor's. I feel like I always just draw it right at the right time. Am I surprised Ponza hasn't started to play Microspawn without powerful? I think it's not super easy or super possible to splash. I would say I'm not surprised. I think I just want to get some pressure down, and the snare's not doing too much with the Mind Stone out of the hand anyways. I guess I attack, and then I flip Tamiyo and just hold up Force. Just have the nuts this game, I guess. Although, it would have been a lot worse if my opponent did a main phase the... if they just did a main phase the map activation. Thanks, opponent. 1 damage short of lethal, but Force of Negation or Shadow of Doubt. I guess Shadow on my turn for lethal. So we won game one very quickly. I think so. My opponent's playing a deck that is entirely colorless spells. So I'm going to bring in Consign to Memory. You count, and they also have triggered abilities on those spells. And so I'm going to bring in Consign to Memory to counter those. This is an interesting metagame choice I've made for this specific format and not a mandatory include in every blue modern deck for the last 2 years. I guess so I want to get rid of Scoldings and Shoals. This does counter Glaring Fleshraker. Could maybe play one. Shoal's pretty bad. I guess I'll just play one. Alright, let's go. I'll pitch into Force. Don't the new dual lands with colorless help for Microspawn for pawns. You're at that point, you're a 4-color deck. You're green, white, colorless, red. It's too much. Yeah, you could show map. It has text for sure. Okay, let's keep this. I think I want to play Tamiyo turn 1, so I'll just put back the snare. So they say no to Chalice Tower K command. What does no to K command mean? That they have another K command and they found a temple? I don't know. Okay, maybe good that Tamiyo eats the Dismember because we have the Harbinger. They play a temple. They have Fleshraker. They do have Fleshraker. It's a pretty good curve here. Oh no, they have resolved the colorless spell. I already have my Consign. I think I'm actually going to replicate the Consign here since the Harbinger's on the mana denial plan. I think I want to restrict their colorless mana here. Might even get to sink the Fleshraker back to their hand. Yeah, maybe they need lands. They didn't hit a land this turn, so although they might just put like the temple on top. They have a second Dismember. Okay, that's not so good. So I'm down to 16. They have 4 cards in their hand. They're just gonna cycle a K command to make a spawn. Okay. This is kind of K command for 0.5 instead of K command for 0. It's good that K command is always good even when you play it on 0. You'd hate for that card to ever not do anything. Alright, so I guess we just counterspell this into hardcast Lrien Revealed probably. Down to 12, then down to 9 if we play this untapped. They have 4 cards in their hand. Very good draw from our opponent. I guess I don't have 6. I had 4 sub. Now I'm down to 7. Let's hold up the hardcast Force here, despite it being kind of nice to be able to activate Hall next turn. Match win? Dude, Namor's got too much aura. Okay, so we lost a round, and then we won. We lost a match, we won 8 games in a row. To finish 4-1, it's pretty good. I don't know. I don't know if I like Dimir or this one more. I don't know if I like this many Shadow Doubts, but they both feel playable. They both feel about as good. The mono blue mana fit base does feel so nice. And I don't know. It's like the Prowess matchup does feel pretty good. Boros matchup's gonna be a lot worse. Evan Bob has become a mod. I guess it's lunchtime for me. I guess this